Hello everyone, welcome along to a very wet and windy Rathbone manor today. And today we'll be taking a look at something a little different today, and that will be railroad spikes, namely the Lewis Bolt Company threaded spike, these little fellows here. All three of these spikes were very kindly sent in to me by my good friend TraderJoe, so thank you very much to TraderJoe for sending these in. And he also sent in two very nice little knives as well, although I think this is more of a multi-tool, to be honest with you. This little Timber Ghost custom knife here, and this Northfield UNXLD. That's extremely nice, and I shall be taking a look at both of these in later videos. These are the sort of thing that most people think of when you mention railroad spike, railway spike. This is a standard, old-fashioned style of one. I think they're still used today though, to be honest with you. This one looks relatively new. But these two here are by Lewis Bolt and Nut Company, and it is their screw spike. As you can see, it's got quite a considerable screw going on just here, threads going on just there. These things are quite heavy. They weigh over a pound each. I think it's 1 pound and 5 ounces a piece, would you believe? And this is the rectangular double-headed version. As you can see, it's got it screws down to about here somewhere, like so, and this bit on here is so that the company can rip them out with a spike extractor if they need to in the future. I guess it's like a gigantic claw hammer or something like that there for ripping them out, and I would imagine they take some getting out too. Very nice bit of kit, like that. Now this thing actually reminds me of the mole on Thunderbirds. If you've watched Thunderbirds, you will have seen the mole, and it does actually remind me of that particular rescue vehicle. These things are put in by some fairly heavy duty equipment, as you can see here from their own website. This is from the Lewis website. You can see this specialist machine here driving some in, and they look like they're put in with a pre-drilled hole into the sleeper as well, like a pilot hole sort of thing, shall we say, rather largish pilot hole too, driven in quite hard. I don't think I'd want to do too many of them by hand, to be honest with you, looking at that. Anyway, let's take a closer look at these things. Okay then, so at the pointy end of things we have this very aggressive thread going on here, all the way along here, until we get to this part here. Now, this part here is interesting because you can see it's been sort of like pushed over this way, so they will grip, and that's the idea of this part of it here. It gets into the sleeper and grips and will stop this pin from coming out, the spike from coming out again. It's a massive bit of construction. I do like these things actually, they're very nicely made. Lewis Bolt also make a single-headed version of this, but this is a double-headed version, as I say, because it can be easily extracted, pulled out of the sleeper if needs be. And as I say, there's a rectangular end on it. As you can see, it's not square at all. Looking at one of the videos on the site, on the Lewis site, this is how they appear to have the layout. You've got a standard spike in the middle and two screw spikes either side of it to hold the track in place. I thought I had some large screws in my collection, and probably this is not one of the biggest ones either, but it pales in comparison with these things. Look at them, amazing. Okay, so much for the sensible part of this review here, this video. I thought I'd like to actually try one of these out, but I don't actually have a railway sleeper, but I do have a rather largish chunk of wood handy in the workshop here, namely this chunk here, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 of an inch roughly, so I suppose it's 3 by 3 in reality. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is we'll put a pilot hole in here and see if we can screw one of these into it. Okay, so what we have here is a 22mm hole in this 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 lump of wood here, shall we say. We've got one of the Lewis screw spikes here, so let's give it a go. It's a nice tight fit, as you can see. So I can drive it in so far by hand, back to here. Now that is, God blimey, yeah, that's got quite tight just there, guys. So I think we ought to try an adjustable spanner on this. Okay, so I've got my 300mm adjustable spanner here. Let's get it sorted out for the top, like so, and we'll give it a go. God blimey, you can hear it cutting its way in. There it goes, right in now then. We're getting down to the, there we go, the little claws in there. I don't know if they're going to stop it from coming out, because this hole might be a bit on the big side actually, guys. I think the pilot hole that they normally use is a bit smaller than this. But no, they're not stopping it at all. Okay. So if I'd have had a smaller hole in this, it would have been better, I think. But the drill bits I've got are either too small or too big. Okay, as you can see, it's all the way through. I can't shift it by hand, so it's in there fairly tight. I wonder if I could, I don't think I've got anything, I don't know what size this is actually, what sort of size pilot hole we're going to need for this. Next one I've got down in size is a 13mm, and I think that might be a bit on the small side. Okay, let's give it a go with this 16mm hole here, which I don't think is going to be big enough. Let's give it a try. Already, there's no way I'm screwing that in by hand at all. God. Let's get the span on it. Blimey. Oosh, it's going to take some effort. God, blimey, yeah. Now this is taking a great deal of effort. I imagine it's probably going to split the chunk of wood actually. Blimey. Phew. Yep, that's taking way too much effort. Yep. Well, that's as far as it's going to go, guys. I can't get any further than that. Nope. Definitely it. Nope. See if we can get it out then. There we go. Oh, blimey. Whew. Okay then, so we can see the thread tracks in the 22mm hole. Let's take a look at the 16mm hole, and this is what it would have looked like before we tried to put the screw spike in, and just look how much damage it did to this 16mm hole. Okay then, so I hope you enjoyed this look at the Lewis Bolt Company screw spike here. This is the 7-inch version. You measure it from just here, I believe. 7 inches. What a nice bit of kit. I like these. They're nice, aren't they? I don't honestly think you'd want to get caught carrying one of these around in this country though, because they do look very offensive and you might get pulled, because you know you are carrying a very dangerous weapon here, guys. Alrighty then, let's just take a few moments to thank TraderJoe for sending both of these, well, all three of these spikes in, these two Lewis screw spikes. What a nice bit of kit they are. I wonder if I've taken the edge off of those by trying to get it into the wood. Might have done. It's just not sharp as this one anymore, but yeah. Aren't they lovely? Lovely bits of kit. I think they're great myself. Yeah, so let me know what you think, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you come back to Rathbone Manor in the very near future, because I'm sure I'll have something equally as interesting to take a look at some point or another. And I do hope you'll pop by then. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you later.